Good evening, folks. Red County Blue Nation, Westcliff, Colorado, great states of Americans. Stephen Rorick, Mike Boring on the console. Co-pilot's missing in action tonight. Jimmy's probably braving it out there somewhere fighting the snow. Everything is good, folks. Everything is good. So we'll go over some of this stuff on our own here. And Taylor was supposed to make it as well. I talked to him earlier, and he got stuck coming out of his driveway and then tried to go back and get a shovel and got stuck again. And so it's like, yeah, maybe you guys better just stay at the house. But, I don't know. It just is what it is. Nothing against anybody, but it seems like our society just keeps getting softer by the day. I mean, we used to be 2-3 foot of snow and didn't think nothing of it, and it didn't stop us at all. And now 6 inches happen and everybody gets shut down. But it is what it is. It's all good. I just when you're used to something and it changes and then just keeps getting softer, it makes you reminisce about the good old days. But with that being said, so our headline has to do with the CIA and the election fraud in Venezuela, folks. And so I guess I'm kind of having that same feeling as I did last week a little bit, that I'm just so I don't know if disappointed is the right word, or fed up, or what, but why the most not necessarily the most highest funded part of the government, the CIA, right? I mean, the CIA doesn't have, their budget is not as big as some. I mean, it's still more than a guy can even fathom, but how something with that much money and that much power and that many tools can hoodwink the people, and nobody even gives a flying rat's ass about it. I mean, I'm just like, why? I know Trump's got a lot going on. He's got so many people around him that it's like, it's really hard to drill down into the exactness of it's just like a military battle, right? I mean, you're relying on your people on the ground, your people in the field, to give you accurate interpretation of what's happening. And I think that's one of the main things that's happening to Trump, is that they're not feeding him credible information. We were going to try to gut all this stuff. Hopefully Elon Musk is back on the scene with the Doge. I mean, that was when President Trump's ratings were the highest. His fell off pretty good, according to Rasmussen polls. Mark Mitchell, I believe, is that gentleman's name. They actually invited him to the White House, and he spoke with J.D. Vance and Prez a little bit. And he's like one of the only credible pollers out there. But he's lost a lot of ground with the whole Epstein thing and some of this other stuff. And it just seems to me that there's a disconnect there between what's really going on, the people that are in between Trump, and what's going on. So they'll tell him, oh, just like Scott Bessent, right? Oh, the economy's doing great, everything is fine. Well, it's not fine, man, right? I mean, there's a lot of people out there in a hell of a bind. Inflation's at an all-time high. I mean, they say inflation's went down or whatever. but it's like, did you see the prices at the grocery store go down? Hell no. Ain't nothing went down. Gas might have went down a little bit, but I mean, the cost of some of this stuff is just outrageous. I got a bottle of acetylene for the cutting torch. Used to be $80 for that tank. Now it's $350. It's everything just cost so much more than it did. And for somebody like Scott Bessent to say, "Oh, it's fine, it's great, everything is great. We're in tall cotton now." Trump, don't let them lie to you, buddy. Right? I mean, you was doing a lot better as the underdog, and you need to stay as the underdog because you are the underdog. Don't think for a second that you got the upper hand, because you don't. And that's back to the CIA, right? You haven't made a hill of beans difference with the CIA. They're still running you like a little Raggedy Andy doll, boy. And I don't know. Like I said, it pulls on my heartstrings, right? What? Something that's is supposed to be the greatest nation in the world, and we are, but we're compromised. We're sold out. We're compromised, folks. I mean, I hope that you all can see that. We're compromised to the fact that, I mean, if the CIA had our best interest in mind, do you think that we would be having all these Muslims and all of this other stuff in our country trying to pull this? They're gonna cut your kids' genitalia off, right? But so anyhow, it seems that now in Venezuela, right? I mean, I know that's a super sticky situation, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, we're supposed to be getting out of all these wars, and now here Trump is. He's going to start a war in Venezuela." Well, it's like, if you really look at what's going on, these wars, like the Russian-Ukraine war, got started clear back. I mean, it's been going for sure since 2014, since Obama and a bunch of his cronies. I mean, they've been laundering so much money through that country that you just regular folks can't comprehend what's going on. And not that I can either. I just know that it is. And I mean, we're over here trying to raise our lodging tax so that we can get child care off of the people of this county, but yet you already done gave away hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars, even trillions, right? I mean, we're talking about trillions of dollars, folks, that these nasty bastards have given away right under our nose. And it's through the Central Intelligence Agency. That's the hub of what all this wrongdoing is. I mean, they kind of slowed down USAID, but at the end of the day, it's the intelligence. The intelligence is what's supposed to control it all. That's kind of like the attorney, right? They're supposed to watch out for your well-being. That's what that's why we have the Federal Bureau of Investigations. That's why we have the Central Intelligence Agency. That's why we have these, whatever the hell they are. You know, I mean, in theory, it's good. The problem is that they're so corrupt and they're compromised. And I don't know. I'm pretty... Part of me wants to be real mad, and I mean, that part's mad, but I'm like, the rest of me is trying to just suss that out. I mean, what good is it going to do for me to rant and rave how good these no good sons of bitches really are, right? Billy Bob Biden. Right? I mean, you just... You just keep undercutting us and undercutting us and undercutting us. And I mean, at what point do the American people decide that we've had enough? But so to tie this all together, Patrick Byrne, I think that's how you pronounce his name, B-Y-R-N-E, Byrne, former intelligence, knows about everything that's going on. The thing with Venezuela, for the last 20 years, they have been undermining elections in 73 countries. 73 countries. Venezuela has undermined their elections in the last 20 years. And so it seems fitting that we should go in there and kind of raise hell and kind of stir that up and break that apart. So back to the whole thing about how being a whoremonger and all these world wars or worldwide wars and all this stuff. I mean, it seems to me that the whole deal with Venezuela is a lot different of a scenario than it is with Ukraine or Israel or all of that, right? I mean, them people need to be fighting their own shit. We need to be taking care of Venezuela. They've been undermining our elections. I mean, what the hell what does anybody even give a shit about, right? What do you even care about at all? Right? Do you care about integrity and honesty and patriotism and loyalty and all of these things that America was founded upon? And I know you all know it, but it's like America's the last frontier, right? If America goes down, there's no place left, folks. Everybody else is already toast. You look at all the European nations. I mean, look what happened to Germany. I mean, they cut the damn... America blows up the Nord Stream pipeline, and them people are out there, they're back to trying to chop wood to keep warm. You take a superior intellectual people that need energy. You need energy to excel, right? You need energy, electricity. You need energy to do stuff. And, we kind of cut the throat on them. I'd be one mad son of a bitch if I was a German. I know that. But, I mean, we already proved that basically the CIA are the ones that blew up the Nord Stream pipeline. So, I mean, Europe doesn't, they're all toast. I mean, they're all socialist, right? So freedom is almost gone. The only place left is America. And so what do? It's Cloward and Piven. And you got the CIA. So why? I mean, I mean, what do we do, right? I'm so irritated I can just barely hang on, folks. Right? I mean, that's how irritated I am with this kind of thing. And being mad is not the answer. That ain't gonna get us anywhere. But understanding what your environment is one step closer to ultimately, in my mind, right, I'm shooting for utopia, right? I want everything to be the P word perfect, right? No, it's perfect don't exist. Bullshit, it does in my world. Perfect exists in my world a lot. It comes around, it's like on a rotating thing. Bam, there it is. Bam. Bam, bam, bam. Ba-bam, bam, ba-bam, bam. Right? We're shooting for perfection, folks. And it's not a bad way to go, right? I mean, at least you have a legitimate goal in your mind about how you want things to go. And then they're going to take all your tax money and the technology and undermine you, right? They're hitting you with weapons, right? They're hitting you with the chemical weaponry in the air, the water, and the food. Not to mention all these other electronic devices, right? We were just talking about that a few weeks ago about the nanobots and the microwaves. And I mean, 60 cycles, 60 hertz is the worst damn thing that we could do. But yeah, here we are, right? So I mean, don't get me wrong, I like electricity. Being warm is good. Having light is good. Perpetual motion is good. Right? We're going to get there whether they want us to or not. So I mean, what are we going to do, folks? First things first, I had some epiphanies. We had a meeting. We had our meet and greet on Monday night over at All Aboard Westcliff for Taylor Lepresti, and Rich Smith got up and spoke as well. There's a bunch of people up this year, right? The treasurer, the clerk. All these people are up for re-election, and I'm not trying to jump on them folks, right? Because I know Kelly better than I know Virginia, but I've known these gals for a long time. Seen Kelly today, as a matter of fact. But it makes me wonder why they never show up to any of these events or these county proceedings to try to maintain the integrity and the strength of our county, right? Why most of all the elected officials don't show up to the CCRCC, and maybe they think that it's poppycock. I don't know, right? For sure. I mean, I've never confronted them. Maybe one day I will. I mean, I never felt that it was my responsibility to confront them about why they don't show up for something that they should show up. But the fact of the matter is, folks, is there's so few of us that are making the decisions for all the rest of us, but yet everybody's got an opinion and everybody's got a bitch, right? And I was going to speak about this. I kind of let the meeting go at All Aboard Westcliff a little. It went a little bit different than I had in mind, and that was, I'll take full responsibility of that, right? I should have. I mean, I kind of coordinated all that, and I should have. I had some stuff to say, and by the time it was all said and done, I didn't get a chance to say that because I didn't start the meeting. You know, I like Jack. Jack has a lot of information that's good. And so I just went ahead and let him start the meeting about the caucus, and then that went right into Taylor, and then Rich spoke, and then so I never did have a chance to speak. And that's my fault because Jack asked me, and you know, instead of saying, no, I'll start it, I said, well, whatever. And he said, okay, well, I'll go ahead. Which is, it's fine and dandy, everything is fine, but one of the things that I wanted to touch on and that was going through my mind is that same thing what I was just talking about. How in the hell, as so few people make the choice for the rest of us. And what I'm talking about, folks, is I'm talking about the amount of people that show up to vote. And so I still have this question in my mind about how, and so there was some conversation there about how when you register, when you get your driver's license, they automatically register you to vote as unaffiliated. Only 40%, and I don't know exactly about this one, but I know on the last election, Custer County had about 41, 42% show up to vote. And I guess really what's irritating me so hard, folks, is that you don't even have to do jack shit. You don't have to show up to vote for a damn thing. All you got to do is fill the frickin' paper out and drop it out by the courthouse in a month. But still only 4 out of 10 registered voters vote. I'm just like, and so Jimmy and I were talking a night or two ago, or we were talking after Monday night after Taylor's meet and greet, and he said, well, people just don't think their vote matters. And I understand that. For the longest time, I didn't vote when I was young, right? I didn't think that it was like, well, my one single vote is not going to matter on the presidential race, so I'm not going to worry about it. And my mom finally is the one that got me into it. She said, yeah, your vote doesn't count. You know, you're right about that, but at the county level, it does. And a lot of times these real close, tight county elections are within the 10s and 20s and 30s and 40s, right? 10, 20, 30 votes, 30, 40, 50 votes makes a difference. Less than 100 votes out of 40-some hundred registered frickin' voters. But still only 40% of them show up to vote. And it's mail-in ballots. And I'm like, you cheesy bitches, right? Y'all are a bunch of cheeses. Cheesy bitches, man. It's so irritating, right? It's like, and so really where I'm going is like, okay, so you don't think that it matters? I get it, right? I totally understand, and that's not where I'm coming from, but how in the frick did you get registered to vote if you don't give a shit? Obviously, you cared enough along the line somewhere to register. Somehow, you got registered. And that's what I was saying with Jimmy. I know that number of people hasn't moved in here. Just they moved from another state and they registered them unaffiliated. No, we don't vote, but yeah, we're registered to vote, but we don't vote. Like, and the thing about it is the nation is less than that, right? So Westcliff actually beat the overall nation in percentage, right? So we had like, I think last time George talked about it, we had like 41, 42%, and the average is like 38 or something. So how in the hell are all these people getting registered, but they just, I don't know. You registered to vote, you somehow took the time to get registered to vote, and it's mail-in ballots. All you got to do is open the son of a bitch up, and then when you come into town, all you got to do is drive by the courthouse or send it through the mail. But you can just drive by the courthouse and pop it in the slot, right? Oh my God, you're going to have to take 3 or 4 or 5 minutes out of your overworked, poor little sorry-ass day to go put your election ballot in. Because they made it so easy that you don't even have to show up. Now, if we still had to go to the polls and we got to work and, maybe it's a big snowstorm and all of this stuff, and then it makes a little bit more sense why we have such a low turnout. But with mail-in ballots, and you have like a month to turn them in, and we can still only get 40% of the people. That, I mean, it just, I don't know. Right? Am I expecting too much from the human race? Are we all that bunch of losers? Derelict, half-ass, wannabe, sorry-ass, dirt-licking. Really? That's all the more that we are, huh? Bunch of sorry sons of bitches, man. Weak. Shit's weak, folks. It is weak. And I'm sure that everybody's listening to me, right? I know that most of the people that I'm talking to right now are not one of them, kind of. Right? I mean, if you're willing to listen to me, I'm sure that you've already taken the measures to make sure that your ballot got counted. But it's just like, son of a bitch, really? I mean, what? And like I said, I get it, right? I get why, I get it, right? But how in the hell did you get registered? If you don't give a shit about, you don't think your vote counts, then how in the hell did you get registered? And I guess, you know, one of these days AI will be able to crack all them numbers, right? They'll be able to tell exactly who moved in here, who got, you know, like we were talking on Monday over at the meet and greet. When you register, or when you get your driver's license, they register you to vote, but they don't tell you what it is. They just automatically sign you up as unaffiliated. But damn, is that everybody's excuse? Really, the 60% of the votes that never got counted and I'm talking about just in our county. 60%, 6 out of 10 people are too tied up in their own world to take 3 to 5 minutes to fill the damn ballot out and turn back around and take another 10, 15 minutes. Just give it a big, even if it's even 3 hours. 3 hours? Once every 2 years? What a bunch of lazy bitches, folks. Lazy bitches. Right? I'm too busy to turn my ballot in. I'm too busy to even open it up. Then why the hell are you even registered, right? I mean, what the hell? I want to know what the actual numbers is there, but it just doesn't make any sense to me. Why the hell there are that many registered voters and you can only get 4 out of 10 to show up? I mean, it just is like, it's irritating to me. And what are we going to do? I mean, I don't know. What do we do, right? I'm back to the only thing that influences me is I want to do it because I'm going to excel at something, which is normally like, I mean, most people, there's only a few options there. You're going to gain, right? You're on the gain, right? You're either gaining monetarily or you're gaining with your family or you have something to gain, right? You're gaining somehow to want to put forth this effort. But don't you understand that something as simple as filling your ballot out and returning it and like I said, I get it, right? I get it. I used to not vote because I didn't think that it mattered. I didn't think my vote counted. But how in the hell but I wasn't registered either, right? I wasn't registered to vote. So my number wasn't on that tally. But they are here, folks. It's just one of these things that just tears me apart on the inside, right? You know, we want to do good. We wish good for this. We want the world to go a particular way, right? And we want the betterment of mankind. But yet your sorry, lazy ass is not even good enough to turn your ballot in. But you can damn sure run your trap jaw about what happens, even though that you didn't give a shit about putting your vote in there. And yeah, they've been stealing our election votes. A lot of that stuff that I hear, they say that they got 10% baked in. There's 10% fraud. But we outnumber them 2-1. Right? There's basically two people that are in their right mind, that they know America is where they want to be. America is the homeland. America is our pride and joy. And then you have the other third that think that America needs to burn. So even though they have 10% baked in the fraud, that still gives us 60-40, right? A little bit more, right? I mean, it's I'm talking about 66-33, right? Then you're talking about 56-43 or 44. There's still plenty, right? We have plenty of horsepower. We have plenty of wherewithal to get things done that we want to get done. Oh, that's right. Our Central Intelligence Agency is against us. We have them undermining our whole integrity, our whole entirety with Venezuela, that's been cheating on 73 countries. I mean, it's just hard for me to. It's hard for me to not get irritated. And if any, I know there's a few of you out there that probably know me well enough to, if you knowed me 20 years ago or you knowed me 30 years ago, you'd know that I was a handful, right? Hard to deal with. Really hard to deal with because I let my emotions control me, right? And most of the time it was anger. I was pissed because it's not going the way that I want it to go. And I've had people tell me I was spoiled and whatever. Maybe I was a little bit spoiled, but at the end of the day, hell, everything I got on my own. Nobody gave me a damn thing. So you can say that I'm spoiled, but how in the hell can I be spoiled when I produce so much? Right? My track record, my productivity is at the nth level. So I mean, that's just where I'm at, right? I demand more from the people that are around me and around. I demand more. It's just like the snow, right? Back in the day, when we used to live out on Colony, on 119 out there, the damn snow would be so deep that the graders couldn't get through there, chained up with the big V plows. But my dad would get us in the pickup and he would see that we went to school even though the school buses couldn't get through there. And now, oh my God, we got 3 inches of snow where it's a 3-hour delay and we can't make it. And I'm just like, right, everything is so soft, right? Oh, it's people's feelings and we can't be politically incorrect. And I don't know. I don't have much tolerance for that. And it is what it is, right? I do the best I can to get along, but when it really irritates me is when we're talking about the CIA. So the CIA is running the freaking Venezuela, and undermining our elections. And most people don't give a flying rat's ass about shit, man. They just don't care. Oh, it's fine. We're all equal. Well, don't you understand these Muslims that are in Dearborn, Michigan? They're going to cut your throat, you stupid damn white broad, right? They're going to cut your throat. Going to cut your throat. All because you're not strong enough to stand up for yourself. Do you think that they give a shit about what you think? Hell no. They think you're an infidel, but you're going to let them right in your back door. The quote from my co-pilot there, I kind of revised it or reversed it, but the only mistake you make is petting a rattlesnake. Right? Oh, man. So, with all that being said, I mean, I don't want to be, we're always looking for solutions. I mean, that's what everybody knows, that I'm about solutions. If there's no solution to be had, then basically you haven't thought about it hard enough, because there's a solution for everything. But one of the things, back to the solutions, what I intend to do to get us all on even ground here, and when I mean all of us on even ground, I'm talking about the constituents and the elected officials. I think it's in everyone's best interest, including Taylor's, to have Taylor investigate some of this stuff. Taylor's a fresh, neutral party. I mean, they have the Cora request, folks, the Colorado Open Records Act. And then there's another one, too, that doesn't have to do with Colorado. I can't think of that one right offhand. It's kind of eluding me for a second here. But they're doing our business. And that means that all of the records are open to us. So I have every intention in getting Taylor squared away. And number one, I want you to go into the courthouse and fill out a Cora request to see the December financial statements. And if they can come up with it, and if they treat you respectably and responsibly and all of that, more power to them. That's not how they treated us in the past. So that's what I'm saying. Right? I'm just putting this out there for everybody to hear. Like, we're coming at you. Kelly, Virginia. I mean, JD doesn't have that much to do with it. Especially with the Justice Center, right? I mean, the financial statements with everything that goes on. So my new epiphany is that I'm going to have Taylor, and of course I'm not in control of Taylor by any means, but I'm going to suggest to him that this is what we've been telling you about, and so try and prove me wrong. Right? I'm not asking you to take my word for it. I'm just telling you what I've already experienced. So you go into the courthouse and you pull up a Cora request and see what kind of information you can get. And then when they shun your ass, or they don't, either one, right? I'm completely open and neutral at this point. But you're going to come on the podcast here and report what your findings are. Because that's what transparency is about. That's what openness is about. Maybe things are beginning to change a little bit. I don't know, right? I haven't been into the courthouse in a while. Um, but I'm pretty sure what the answer is. And in the position that Taylor's in here, that he is officially submitted his name and to the state that he's going to run for the county commissioner seat, right? I mean, it's official, right? He's went through the steps legally to make this happen. With that being said, I think it's in all our best interest, including his, to really get to the bottom of what's going on here, right? Maybe our group of people, Jimmy and Lynn Arrigo and Matt Miles and Joy Anderson and Nadine Peterson and Bill Parker and all these people that have been on the ground trying to get these people to do the right thing. Maybe they were too mean, right? Maybe they were too brash, or maybe they didn't go about it just right, or whatever. Highly unlikely. But we're given the county officials a chance to redeem themselves. Which, like I said, my money's going that they can't, because, I mean, if they could, why didn't they already? But transparency is all we really care about, folks. I mean, at the end of the day, what do you do to your kids that are lying to you, right, when they're only like 3 years old, right? Well, what do you do to them, right? You tell them lying is a sin, and you're going to go stand in the corner, and you're not going to get to watch your cartoons, and you get your doll taken away, or whatever it is, right? There's consequences for wrong action, for devious actions, right? And that's back to that whole embarrassment thing of where I'm trying to tie this all together. There's a lot going through my mind here, but trying to tie this, like, how do you get somebody to do the right thing, right? They either they're incentivized some way or another, right? And financially is not a good thing. I mean, it's not a bad thing either, right? I mean, don't get me wrong, right? I mean, if you got a good, solid work crew and people are incentivized by showing up and doing a good job, and you pay them well and you give them a bonus and everybody's happy, that's a great thing. That's the way things are supposed to be. Incentivized by lying and cheating and thieving, and you got paid off because you're a wicked son of a bitch, right? That's not the kind of incentivizing that I'm talking about. And the other part of the coin to that is, that's what I've talked about before, about embarrassment, right? For me, somebody with a moral compass, somebody with integrity, when you embarrass them, and I'm not saying that one person embarrasses another one, right? That's not what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about how maybe you were in a scenario and you misspoke, or you were in a scenario and you did something, you accidentally backed into somebody else's car. That shit's embarrassing, right? And so if you have a good consciousness about you, it makes you not want to do that again. And that's where I'm going with this, right? It's like, it's time for the county to not repeat this stuff that keeps going on. Robin Knapp showed up at our little meeting. I don't know how the hell But, you know, all that was important to her, she didn't stay for the meeting, but all she wanted to do was hand out her stuff about the new fire mitigation. You know, folks are spending $51,000. The county is spending $51,000 to study evacuation plans. And I'm just like, you gotta be kidding me. Who in the hell don't know how the hell to get out of their house and get out away from where the fire's at? Really? 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 Y'all that stupid. Y'all that full of shit. And we got to spend $51,000 to do another study to try to keep these dumbass sons of bitches from not burning up? Really? And she made the comment, and I didn't say anything, and Taylor was there, and so was Jimmy, and we both kind of bit our tongue. But she's like, yeah, I'm the one that got the wood chipper too. And I mean, it's a good thing she didn't hang around another 3-4 seconds. We would have roasted her ass to smithereens, right? How the hell are you going to spend county money putting pressure on private businesses, competition? I mean, that's nothing but socialism. Oh, well, I don't have the money to cut down the trees. Then really, how the hell did you afford a $2 million property, but you don't have the money to maintain it? That ain't nobody's fault but your own. And in my opinion, your ass should just burn, right? And I honestly feel that way. Ain't nobody watching out for me. I mean, I don't live in the trees because I know better than that. I don't like trees. I like to be able to, I love trees, right? Don't get me wrong. But I like to be able to see. I like meadow. I like green grass. That's what I like. I don't like pine needles. That's just me. But you go and buy this huge expensive house and then bitch and moan to the county about how you can't afford fire mitigation. So now all of a sudden you're taking my hard-earned money and spending that on a frickin' wood chipper that they ain't even smart enough. They burned the brakes off the son of a bitch, literally pulling it down Macy Lane. Whoever is not smart enough to plug it in or unplug it or plug it, the wiring was wrong or whatever. But it's like, you couldn't tell the brakes was locked up before you got out of the damn county yard? Come on, folks. I mean, I know we're getting dumbed down with the water and the food and the air and all this TV and these mind waves and all this shit, but really? How does that make any sense? And I'm going to have to call out John Van Doren on this one, right? I mean, you think that you're the greatest fire mitigation guy in the world because wherever you came from. But it's like, what happened to people taking care of themselves? If you got a $2 million, $3 million, $4 million house up in the trees, and you gotta call on our county to try to get an evacuation plan for you? Oh boy. Like, right? I mean, the shit you deserve to burn out because you're not smart enough to even maintain what you have. And you can say whatever you want. Oh, you're being mean. Well, I don't give a shit, right? It's back to reality, folks. If you can't, why should I be responsible for you, your kids, your property, anything of you? I'm responsible for myself. And nobody else is taking care of me. But I'm supposed to pay for your fire mitigation, and I'm supposed to pay for your fire evacuation, and I'm supposed to pay for all this shit? I'm supposed to pay to babysit your kids? Man. Like I said, what happened to the good old days, right? Oh my God, we got 6 inches of snow. Let's close everything down. The kid can't go to school. Everything's shut down. Oh my God. Like, really? I mean, I know it is what it is, right? It's the education system that's teaching us to be soft, and the worst part about it is they just keep getting softer by the minute. But that doesn't mean that where I came from was soft. And it ain't soft right now, right, folks? And I don't have to believe in that crap. I'm not with that crap. I don't do it that way. It's pretty disappointing. And then to figure out that our Central Intelligence Agency is at the head of all this? Man. I wished I had a foolproof answer for us, folks, but I don't on this one, right? I mean, the only answer to this is to treat each other with the kindness that you want to be treated, and we have to stand up here. You don't want to vote? Take enough time to go take your name off the voter rolls then. Oh yeah, that's asking too much. I know you're so taxed and you're so busy and nah. Cry me a river. It's just a joke. It's a joke, folks. That people make them kind of excuses up, right? Why they can't go ahead and handle their business. And if you don't want to handle the business, just say so and get out. Shit, you don't like America? Go to another country. I can't believe how many people I heard, oh, Trump's elected, I'm leaving the U.S. Shit, man, take your bags and get the hell out of here, because ain't none of us want you here. I damn sure don't. It's the golden rule. Do unto others as you'd have others to do unto you. I'm not going to tell you that I don't want you to be here, but if you don't want to be here, I damn sure don't want you here. I know that's a little hard to catch sometimes, but that's the way that it is, right? It's just like trying to ask a girl to dance. I don't really want to. If you don't want to, I don't either, right? I would never want to dance with someone that didn't want to dance with me. I mean, isn't that common logic? So back to business here. What are we going to do about these county elections? What are we going to do about our county? And that's, look for it coming up here, folks. It might take us a little while to get it organized, but and this is just my opinion, right? I mean, it's just my words, right? And my feeling about the thing. I think Taylor is extremely, he has a lot of experience dealing with circumstances that unfold. It unfolds, right? You start over here, but it unfolds into an ending. So Taylor would never automatically assume from the start that he knows what the end's going to be, because he knows better than that. So what he does is go through the steps to confirm what's going to happen, right? We have we have intelligence that says that this guy is a bad guy, and so we're going to try to take him off the street. How does that work? Well, they have different tactics that they use in the DEA to apprehend these criminals. That's what's going on right here in our county, folks. This shit is criminal because they're not following their duty, right? They have a duty and an oath and all of this stuff and the morality and everything, and they're just not doing it. The fact of the matter that they don't know how much money they got or how they spent it or where it went or none of that shit. And the IT guy, Vern, I mean, I went through this with Paul the other night, Bokelson. Man, he has no business in there. I don't give a shit what kind of guy he is. It's not about his personality or it's about his ability, not his personality or who he is as a person. It's about your ability. You can't do the job, man. If you could have done the job, the CIC software would have never had a problem, and you and Braden Wilson couldn't get it done to start with, Vern. And then so Braden went and got all the credit cards. Trent Stafford had to shut your ass off at Kirkpatrick Bank because you couldn't even make the payment. I mean, back to that word embarrassing. That's embarrassing to me, folks. I mean, if I was the banker, I would think, man, this is a surefire thing, right? I mean, when you want to do a credit check, I'm going to check your credit, right? It's the county of Custer. Like, you would think that they would pay. Well, they didn't pay, and that's why Mr. Stafford shut them off. That shit's embarrassing. Real embarrassing, and nobody even gives a rat's ass, right? It's just... Oh, hell, we're doing a great job. We'll get another wood chipper. We're going to spend $51,000 to do a study on fire evacuation. Really? Really? That just came from Jim. Jimmy just watched the dang budget meeting, whatever, the week ago or whatever that was, that seen that they allocated that $51,000 to do that. And, you know, I don't know Robin from EMS, but, you know, I guess at this point I really don't want to. But why, right? It's like, and I told her that. I did tell her that. I said, well, I talk about an evacuation plan. You go away from the smoke, right? I mean, damn, that shit's just hard for me to swallow. You need an evacuation plan to get away from, if the whole range lights on fire, then, I mean, if you can't get away from the fire, that's your fault. You're stupider than shit if you can't get away. But yeah, you're going to spend my tax money to do a survey or whatever the hell the right word is there. Going to spend our money to try to make something up that people, if they ain't smart enough to run from fire, then shit, man, maybe you need to just go ahead and go ashes to ashes and dust to dust, because I am tired of babysitting this kind of shit, especially with my money. Now, if it's just your money and you want to be a dumbass and you want to let your ass burn, then that's all fine and dandy, right? Still free. It's still America. We're still free. You want to burn your ass up? Go right ahead. But expect me to pay for it? And I kind of feel like I'm ranting here a little bit, but I mean, this is really the nuts and bolts of it, folks. So my solution is to have someone neutral and with some authority, or no, I shouldn't say authority, but with public wherewithal to go in to the courthouse and put court request on this stuff and see what they got to say. I mean, I don't know what else is reasonable to do. But I mean, bitching about it, maybe I'm wrong, right? Maybe they'll go in there and they'll whip out all the financial records for the whole year. But I mean, they haven't been able to do it for anybody else. So I highly doubt that they can do it for Taylor. But the other thing about that too is Taylor's in a position, he's put himself in a position that he's going to put a burden on himself to help the county, to help the constituents. And so he needs, in my opinion, he needs to everything needs to be just right. It's the P word, right? It's going to be perfect, right? He's going to go in there and he's going to ask for all this stuff. And then when they tell him, well, we don't have any of this, then he'll understand that what we've been telling him is right. We're not trying to belittle someone else just to make ourselves feel better. Because that's not where I'm at, folks. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I got other stuff to do than come on the podcast right now and go through this stuff. And I mean, I'm going to do it and I'll continue to do it because I feel it's important. But I have other stuff in my own personal life that needs attention as well. So I'm not doing this for, there's really no gain. The only gain that I have here is that it's the exchange of knowledge. That's why I'm doing this. I'm trying to explain something that I understand that it seems like maybe that other people don't quite understand it. And so it's like, okay, let's start from square one, right? We're not trying to belittle Billy Bob Biden. That's you, Canada. I'm talking to you, Billy Bob Biden, Canada. Dude, everybody is tired of your shit, Bill. You haven't been doing a good job trying to take care of our business, bud. And it's not personal. It's all business. If it was just personal, I wouldn't care. Wouldn't care. I don't care what you do in your personal time. I don't. I can barely keep track of my own personal stuff. But for you to compromise the constituents, shame on you, bud. And every, right, we're that whole, the proof's in the pudding, that saying, where that comes from, right? I mean, that's what's important to me. And that's why I'm going to tell Taylor, hey, look, bud, you have heard what you have been listening to, what we've been talking about for a few little months here, right? We've been talking about this stuff for a while. And I know that your personality and your experience doesn't let you listen to someone else and take that wholeheartedly. Your experience forces you to investigate that on your own behalf, as it should everybody else. Every living, breathing being should investigate this stuff on their own. That's what numbers are for. That's what they call proof, proving your work, right? That's what geometry and trigonometry and all this stuff of how you prove your work, right? You can work back through the formula and prove what you're doing. And that's what I'm getting ready to do with Mr. Lopresti here, for his own benefit and his own good and the good of the constituents, is you go in there and you find out for yourself what the heck is going on here, man. We just ain't going to deal with hearsay, and we ain't going to deal with he said, she said. So when we bring this stuff up and we have a few core requests that we want to handle, and then Taylor goes in there and he finds out that he can't get them, there's no Justice Center stuff. There's no minutes of the meeting of where they purchased that ground? Really? I mean, it's pretty odd, folks. And I mean, let's face it. At the end of the day, If you understand human behavior and you put yourself into a point of neutrality, why would they hide that? I mean, if it was all that good and it was all that great, then why ain't all the records right at the courthouse instead of at Bill Canda's office at his house? And we know that it is. Joey Anderson's been up there and seen this stuff. We get on Bill and try to tell him to send it to us and this and that, and he sent Jimmy a few things, but that in itself is incriminating right there. Why the hell isn't the shit at the damn courthouse, Bill? You're losers, what the hell you are, man. You're cheating thieves, what you are, pal. Cheater, pumpkin eater, man. Bullshit. But anyhow, where I'm at with this, what I have for a solution is I'm not trying to beat a dead horse here with myself and just keep preaching to you folks. What I'm going to do is set up an investigation so Taylor can go in there. And I mean, maybe he won't feel real comfortable doing it, but I'm pretty sure he will, because I mean, he's an investigator, right? And he investigates some of the most hardcore criminals on the whole damn planet. And it's, let's face it, folks, it sure is nice to assume of the worst and come out with the best. I listen to this thing on the radio sometimes. I don't listen to the radio a whole lot, but they got this thing called How to Catch a Cheater. And most of the time it's these chicks call in to this radio station and they've situated it where they have a pretty good setup, so they basically they call the person that they think's cheating and they say, well, you know, you're a member of this grocery store or whatever, and you've won these flowers, right? You've won a $350 monthly thing of flowers and chocolates and all this stuff, and who do you want to send it to? Well, this guy, I forget what the gal calling in's name's Sophie, and I can't remember what his name is, but he sends these flowers to this gal, and I can't remember what her name is. 36 long stem roses, right? So I mean, it's a pretty big, you know, it's a pretty big deal. And he doesn't say, let's send them to Sophie. He sends it to this other gal. And most of the time, right, 9 out of 10 times, the guy's cheating, right? He's cheater, pumpkin eater. Busted right on national radio. Well, this guy, he proceeds to say, Sophie, you've screwed everything up. You just screwed it up. And she's like, what are you talking about? I need you to tell me what it is. And, you know, I mean, it sounds like a lie, like he's just trying to put it off. Well, come to find out, what he'd done was that he's buying his girlfriend or whatever of 3 years, buying her a new car. And what he did was send them 36 long stem roses to the gal that works at the car dealership, because she's went above and beyond her capabilities and kind of done some stuff that's maybe a little bit shady on her end to save this Jeep back, because I can't remember. He didn't have a down payment or something. So something was a little astray. So the finance lady was able to manipulate it a little bit when she could have just sold it to someone else. So what's this guy do? So he sends these roses to this lady that works at the Jeep dealership. And you know, his girlfriend is just all three kinds of out of sorts. And I mean, it sounds like he's busted, right? You're stone cold cheating. You're busted, right? You sent these roses to somebody else instead of your girlfriend. Well, come to find out, this guy actually sent them to this gal that helped him try to buy this car for his girlfriend. And where I was going with all that is back to, I mean, it's a great thing to assume the worst but end up with the best. And that's what I'm talking about, going into the courthouse and pulling these quarter requests and seeing what the hell comes up. We might be pleasantly surprised, but if we were going to be pleasantly surprised, why ain't we already been pleasantly surprised? So that's why, I mean, I have zero faith that the county has our best interest in mind, right? All they have is their own interest. They don't want to do stuff because they'll be put out. Oh, we can't change our protocol. That's too much work. We're already down to 4 days a week. You're working us too hard. You're not paying us enough. Back to what I started this whole conversation about is the softness of the people, right? We're just all so soft. Oh my God, you're expecting somebody to do more than, I just can't put up with the burden. I'm like, really? You work at the frickin' courthouse. Oh, shit, man. So anyhow, folks, I mean, that's what we need to be doing here. We need to put the pressure. Emotions are no good, right? I mean, don't get me wrong, we all have emotions, but being cool and calm under fire is what makes a person worthy and what makes us really shine. So if Taylor goes in there and he comes up with a bunch of information, I'll be happy. I really will, because I'm over here thinking that it's just the worst. And I mean, all of my investigations say that they're cheating us, right? They're cheating us. Otherwise, they would already showed us what they're doing. Vern don't know if he's punched or bored, folks. But his wife needs the insurance, and that's why they still let him have the job. And that's not fair. Man, I feel bad for him, and I'd feel bad for his wife, but it's not my problem. I have all my own problems. And I'm not involving you, Vern, with any of that shit. So I don't want to be bothered with your problems. But yet I am. Because you won't remove yourself. That's what Jimmy talks about all the time. You know you're inept. Remove yourself from duty if you know that you can't do the job. But that's, I mean, such is the world we live in, folks. Integrity, honesty, all of that stuff is a rare commodity. And so be rich, right? Be rich in yourself. Hold integrity, hold honesty, hold loyalty. Operate, live in it, do these things. Make it count. I mean, we're about out of chances here, folks. I mean, this whole deal with Venezuela and the way that they've already rigged 73 countries. I mean, not to be a prick about it or whatever, but I know myself personally. I'm betting everybody out there. I would be super surprised if anybody in our audience can even name 73 countries. That's where I'm at with that. So it's easy to say, but I bet you, I'm willing to bet $100 bill, and that bet stands. Anybody that can name off 73 countries off the top of their head, you got a $100 bill coming from me, because I'm just pretty sure that there's nobody that can do that. I know I can't. Not even close. I can maybe get, if I thought about it, I might be able to get 20 or 30 or 40 maybe. I mean, I used to like geography. I still do, right? I mean, I like the land, right? So geography and the land all go together, and so the land itself has, that fits in with countries. But where I'm trying to go with that is to emphasize to you what 73 countries really means. These people have been, for 20 years, have fooled around in 73 different countries, cheating on their elections. And the United States is one of them. And it's all run by the Chinese, right? The Chinese are the ones that are at the root of all of this. It's all the communists, right? And I mean, I don't know that for fact, but in my opinion, I have more respect for the Russians than I do the rest of these bastards. I have way more respect for the Russians than I do for the Chinese or the Koreans or the Cubans or any of them, right? I just, and maybe I don't know what I'm talking about, and it doesn't matter, right? It don't matter. At the end of the day, they're still all communists, but when they talk about Russian collusion, Russia didn't have nothing to do with it. That's the CIA. That's our own Central Intelligence Agency playing ourselves against us. And I'm so disappointed, and I'm so sick of it. And I'm sick enough of it that I refuse to let it happen at our own county level. And that's why, I mean, you don't know it yet, Taylor, but you're part of you're going to be the new third investigative journalist for the Red County Blue Nation podcast, right? Because that's what investigative journalism is about, is that we want to know the truth. And I'm not trying to accuse you of something. See, so that's where in my mind I've come to this conclusion that's really helped me as a person doing the podcast and doing this. I guarantee you in my whole life I never would have considered myself a journalist, right? Or a writer or any of that. Man, I mean, I'm way too hardened for that. You want to talk about burning metal and hydraulics and diesel fuel, then that's in gunpowder, right? That's where I'm at. Hardcore, folks. But where I'm going with this about the journalism thing is it gives me a chance to be neutral. So instead of being an activist, being a so-called journalist, right? You get to come into a neutral position and ask questions that you're not tied to emotionally like an activist, right? An activist is someone that believes in their cause, and so they don't understand or don't relate to or don't feel that the other side is credible, right? When you're tied to one side emotionally, and we all are, right? We all are. And that's what I'm saying, this whole podcast and this investigative journalism has given me a chance to get away from trying to come at somebody and accusing them of something and letting my emotions and my feelings put me at a certain starting point, right? I'm already on one side of the fence or the other. With an investigative journalism, all I'm doing is asking the questions, and you are going to answer them according to your own wherewithal. So if I ask you something, you're going to convict yourself, right? You're going to convict yourself in the answer. I'm not pointing my finger and saying, you did this, or you're a no good son of a bitch, Billy Bob Biden, or whatever, right? I'm not pointing my finger at it. What I'm doing is that I'm going to ask the right questions where if you can't answer it properly, you convict yourself. And that's what we're going to do, folks. That's the solution to the problem that we have, is that we're going to ask the right questions, and when they can't answer them, then we know what the answer is. We're not accusing them of anything. We're not We're not accusing them of anything. We're just asking a simple question from a neutral standpoint, and by the answer that they produce, we know where their heart is and we know what the answer is. They can't lie to us, right? You can't lie to us anymore. I mean, you can still lie to us, but we'll be able to see through it, right? Unless you come up with a genuine answer to a genuine question, we know that there's deceit, right? There's deceit there. You're trying to cover up something. They're obviously trying to cover something up, or they would already fix the books. And Lucas, Matt made a real good point the other night. He said, I told Lucas, I said, Lucas, you could have been the savior. You could have been the hero of this county. But you listened to Ann Barthrop tell you that don't you dare listen to Lynn Arrigo or Matt Miles because they're trying to take the power over. Really? So instead of letting the numbers speak for themselves and letting Lynn come in and fix this software, you're still in the same bind you were in. You listen to Ann, and now you're tainted, buddy. Your ass is in trouble, Lucas. Your ass is in trouble, bud. Not to mention, like I said, and I've said it before and I'll say it again, that whatever you told my dad about the low-income housing, and that's been, man, that was like September of last year, before you put your big-ass article in the newspaper about how great you were to get low-income housing. I guarantee you one of these days, buddy, one of these days you're going to come across old Chuck Rorick and he's going to pin you to the wall, bud. And that's what you deserve because you're a liar. You lied to him about it. If you was a big enough man, you could have said, man, Chuck, I mean, I know that's sticky, but this is what I did and this is the reason why I did it. And I mean, it is what it is. Maybe I did make the mistake, and if that's the case, it is what it is. But no, you didn't say none of that. What you did is you told him that you didn't have nothing to do with it, and then you come out and have a whole page in the Sentinel about how high and mighty you are to bring low-income housing to this community. It's bad juju, buddy. And we got you pinned down, right? I mean, you can't get away from that. You can't get away. You had a chance to fix the books. I mean, I know Lynn's a bearcat. He's a handful. But the thing about it at the end of the day is it's not about personality. It's not about Lynn's personality. I talked to another gal too, and I can't remember what her name is. She moved away now. But she's like, well, they're trying to get power. And I'm like, what the frick are you talking about? It's Lynn Arrigo. He's too old to run for the office. He don't want to run for no office. All he's doing is trying to get the book straight. So how in the hell does that have anything to benefit Lynn Arrigo? How is he going to get any power off that? That's because you listened to Ann Barthrop say that. And she finally agreed with me. She said, well, I guess you're right. I said, I know I'm right. And you're wrong for listening to Ann. And that's why we're in the position we're in, because Lucas listened to Ann Barthrop about it. No, you can't trust. They're trying to get all the power. Matt ain't even a registered voter. He owns property, but he don't even vote here. How in the hell can he get power? Stupid. Stupid move on your part, Lucas. Bad move, buddy. Bad move. But anyhow, with all that being said, like I said, the solution, folks, I mean, not to belittle anybody out there, but I know everybody's too busy or they don't give a shit or whatever. There ain't nobody out there trying to get any court. The only people that have went to the courthouse to try to get a record request are just our core little group. It's Joey and Nadine, Matt, Bill Parker, Jimmy and I, and Lynn Arrigo. That's all. That's it. Ain't nobody else gives a shit rat's ass about shit. Ain't nobody else went in there and got a core request. Oh hell, that ain't that important. I'm too busy. I'm too high and mighty, I'm making too much money. Whatever your excuse is, right? Like I said, I'm not trying to belittle anybody, but the proof's in the pudding. Nobody else has went in there for a quarter request for anybody but just a handful of people that I listed. And they basically blackballed us, right? They know what we're up to, and that's why now you have to ask the commissioner. You have to literally, a year ago, you told Kelly Camper, I want this business on the county commissioner meeting. This is what a point of business that I want on the agenda. And you called Kelly, the clerk and the recorder to the county of Custer, and told her, I want this on the agenda. And now what have they done? Now you have to call one of the commissioners personally to see if they'll let you on the agenda. Because they've just, and I'm not saying that we didn't muddy the water or the water didn't get muddied or whatever, but at the end of the day, for the commissioners to have to go to that extreme and go to them actions shows that they got something to hide, folks. That's all there is to it. They're hiding something there. Otherwise, they wouldn't do that, right? They don't want to listen to Jimmy talk to them. And don't get me wrong, right? I mean, Jimmy can be overbearing, and sometimes, and you know, Jimmy and I've talked about this a lot, and I do it, I've done it, but I try not to, is don't accuse someone of something, right? Don't accuse someone of doing something. Let them prove their self. Ask them the right questions to where they're what's the old Rasta song? They walked up on the bridge and looked in the water. They opened their mouth and their book fell out. So if you answer them the right question, they have no choice but to condemn theirself or relieve theirself of that burden. But accusing them of it doesn't get you anywhere. And so maybe we weren't the most grateful and tactful at certain points, but that's why it's kind of a clean skate. It's like the Etch-a-Sketch, right? We've shaken that son of a bitch up, and now Taylor is going to go in there. And Taylor is going to ask all the questions that we've asked before, and we'll see what kind of answers we get. I know they can't answer them, or they would have already answered them, folks. But it's kind of a whole new, you know, it's like a check, double check, triple check, right? Check, check, check. Now it's checkmate. Bill, you're in big trouble, buddy, and so are you, Lucas. You followed Ann around, and she's got you in hot water, buddy. So with that being said, I feel like I've ranted enough. I've done my best to find a solution. I've thought about it pretty long and hard. And in my opinion, this is the only logical way we can go, right? I mean, the Democrats' favorite thing is to accuse you of what they're doing. So we're no longer accusing anybody of anything. We're investigative journalists coming in asking neutral questions that deserve answers. You're required by law to answer these questions. And if you don't, then that is your answer. It's that simple. So, with all that being said, once again, I honestly appreciate everyone that spends their time to listen to what I have to say. I spend a lot of time, folks. I mean, like I said, I could be doing a lot of other things that I'm trying to formulate these. The only thing I really want is I just want for us all to be happy and great. But we ain't, right? We can't be happy and great when the elite and the rich are downtrodden us and they're trying to exterminate us. We already know that it's eugenics, right? I mean, IBM and Bill Gates and Soros and all them, right? They want you dead, whether you realize it or not. So while you're over here petting a rattlesnake, they're over there going to push you into the den. Ultimate deception, folks. So the best way to stay out of that, stay neutral. Consider yourself a journalist, right? We're just asking key questions. We're not accusing you of anything. We're just asking you a question, and by your response, we know where you're coming from. So with that being said, once again, I appreciate everyone. Mike, I love you, brother. I appreciate you. I mean, I know you got 4 kids. Mike takes the time every Wednesday night to make sure that this goes off with a hitch. He's live listening to me right now, rant and rave to all you folks, and letting his family, I mean, you know, he still takes care of business or whatever, but he takes the time out of his night. Every Wednesday night, he makes sure that he takes care of what we have to take care of so that we can have this live broadcast. I just want you all to know that we give up a lot of our own. We give up our own to help spread the word here and to find a solution to the problem. So, I mean, it's way more than just bitching about it. We're all about the solutions, and I think we have a pretty good solution here to start. So with that being said, stay warm out there. I mean, go stick your face in the snow to try to toughen up a little bit. Don't be getting too soft out there, folks. I mean, this country was built on hardness, not softness. So with all that being said, I'll catch you next week. Have a great evening and see you soon.